Ateneo. We're live again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers. My name is Ken Sumera. We're now at episode number 13. And syempre kasama na si Christina. Hi, Chris!
Yeah, lucky 13 daw. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Okay, so another episode. And okay, so I'll introduce our guest. So our guest is, well, he's a 23-year-old coach for the Ateneo Judo team with several UAAP championships. Grabe. And he has produced countless judo and jiu-jitsu champions locally and internationally. So, anong connection nito sa HR? Well, we will discuss later, okay? Pero this is about kasi mind setting. So, we introduce Coach Ali Sulit. Good evening,
Hello.
Ali.
Good evening. Hi, guys.
Hey!
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, so we were just saying, di ba? We were just saying medyo malamig ngayon. Pagka ganito ba, pagka malamig, mahirap mag-practice?
Actually,
mahirap.
during weather like this, it's actually better to practice. Mas ganadong mag-train ng mga tao just to sweat it out. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yes. Okay. So, Ali, kasi we're very interested now. Can you tell us how you, well, came about, okay, being, well, in martial arts, being a coach for the SEA Games team?
Oh, how I started judo. My first martial arts was a long time ago in college. It was my second year of college in Ateneo, and I was lining up for PE classes, and naubusan ako. And I had to choose between ballroom dancing and judo. So.
Oh, okay. So I think that was like an easy
And I thought to
decision.
myself, I'm already an excellent dancer, so just kidding. So for me, the more obvious choice was to take up judo. Since my younger brother, my brother TJ, was already taking up judo like some 5 years ahead already. So I figured, yeah, let's give this a try and let's see what happens. So it was kind of like a leap of faith. And so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, kasi I'm just very curious kasi here, parang, I don't know, I may be wrong, but kasi came from UP. The curriculum, did you take like PE? What did you major in?
I majored in AB Humanities.
Sports medicine?
No, very far from it, actually. Very far from it. I originally wanted to take up fine arts, okay? Except that...
Oh, okay.
Not a lot of people know that, okay? When I entered Ateneo, they had no fine arts department yet. There's no fine arts course. The closest thing to it was humanities. So I figured, I'll stick around because there was talk of having a fine arts course already during my time. So I figured when it's established, I'll just shift out to take up fine arts and all that. So I took all the necessary electives, anything about art, painting, sketching, the great books, everything about literature. I took all that. I didn't know I was going to end up doing what I do now. But yeah, not a lot of people know that during my first year of college, I was in repertory. Medyo malayo, no?
You were in theater.
Yeah, I was in theater.
You were in theater?
I was part of Blue Repertory. Yeah, and it's not something a lot of people know.
Okay.
And it's not something I'm hiding.
Okay, well, it's a revelation.
Yeah, I am. But I fell in love with martial arts, so I pursued it as much as I can. I thought that I could just reach certain levels and I'd be okay with it. Up until I kept realizing, once I reached that level, I realized, I think I can do more. And then I reached that level, and I can do more until I finally decided, let's take this all the way to the top. So there. I was one of the first varsity players of Ateneo for judo because at that time it was a new sport in the UAAP. So yeah, we were actually the pioneers in basketball.
So how do you compete? So how do you qualify for the UAAP, and how do you qualify for the SEA Games?
All right, it's a bit different now because before. Okay, like any sport at Ateneo or any college, I guess, you try out for the varsity. diba? And then you join the varsity.
Mhm.
Once you're accepted, you train and train for the purpose of competition. Okay, and it's a real prestige to be able to represent your university. Okay, dun pa lang eh, because
Mm.
like for example, in Ateneo, in my university, we have this saying pagdating sa athletics, okay? Mensana in corpore sano. Sound mind, sound body, okay? And for me,
Mm.
that's
Mm.
actually one of the driving force na ginamit ko because hindi pwedeng isang aspect lang eh. You want to maximize your time as a student, okay? Or somebody who's developing yourself, okay? It can't be just intellectually. Okay? It has to be physically in all
Mhm.
aspects because um, iba rin ang benefit when you get to know yourself, especially your limitations and what you're capable of, okay, physically.
Mhm.
And it's during these physical challenges that you get to know yourself. I can expound on that later, sige. But yeah, definitely,
Yes.
it's the same thing when whether it's martial arts or any other ball sport that's available in university. You just basically try out for it and train.
Mhm.
And for the Sea Games, it's really nothing different. Okay, right now kasi I'm the head coach for the national jiu-jitsu team, and if I can give a
Mhm.
shout out to all our jiu-jitsu athletes, it was the first time kasi last December that jiu-jitsu was included in the Sea Games, first ever. So it was we
Oh,
sent
okay.
a pioneer team. Okay, 11 athletes. All of them came home with well, we were home, but all of them won medals. We had jiu-jitsu was able to deliver 5 golds, 3 silvers, and 3 bronze. That was quite an outing.
Wow.
Yeah, excellent. And yeah, these guys they tried out also. They fought in the trials. They claimed their slots, and then they've been training ever
Mhm.
since. Kept putting them in competitions. The Asian Championships in Kazakhstan, the next year in Mongolia, the World Championships in
Mhm.
Sweden, the World Championships in Abu Dhabi, the Grand Prix in Thailand and in London, and training camps in Japan and in the States. So it's the same thing, but on a much bigger scale, a much bigger scale, because these athletes don't just represent themselves, they don't just represent their clubs or teams, they represent the entire country. Okay, so it was a really a tremendous feeling to have these guys succeed and to know that you had a part in that journey. It was awesome. Okay, it was awesome.
Mm. Well, you've
Yun,
been
yun.
revealing aspects of yourself, no, na you love theater, etc. Actually, I in high school, I kasi actually mga ano to 1990s. I was part of the Gold Crest team. I was in Taekwondo. I was a red belt and I was competing also. Pero I had
Oh,
a bum knee. So anyway, can you differentiate the different martial arts like jiu-jitsu, judo, taekwondo,
okay.
aikido? Hmm.
All right. I'll tell you a little story, okay? Though it is now disputed, which is the very first martial art, the Oriental martial art that is. Ano ba talaga? Some
Mm,
say it was Kung Fu, invented by the Shaolin monks in
mm,
China, okay?
mm,
But there are other manuscripts that claim that Kung Fu came from a martial art that originated in India. It's called Kalari Payat, okay? So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, who's to say? I mean, one says that they're the sila kanila nanggaling, or but Kalari Payat says that Shaolin monks went to India to study martial arts, and when they went back to
mm,
China, they made it their own. They actually made it blossom, and that's how Kung
Mm-hmm.
Fu was invented. Okay, and for thousands of years it was like that, and then it was brought to different parts of the world. Okay, well, one monk that went to Japan, okay, restructured it, and kumbaga he made some changes, and ang kinalabasan ay yung traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu. Okay, Japanese
okay.
jiu-jitsu okay, involves
Mm-hmm.
striking. There's an aspect of it is
Mm-hmm.
striking. There's an aspect of it that's grappling, meaning you engage like
Mm-hmm.
wrestling and then down to the ground. And there's weapons training for that. Okay, so that's
Mm-hmm.
jiu-jitsu. And in fact, jiu-jitsu blossomed for a long time, okay, especially during that time in Japan when samurai swords and weapons were outlawed na. But there was this period in Japan, and if any of you watched The
Mm-hmm.
Last Samurai by Tom Cruise
Yeah.
movie,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
there was a
Mm, yeah.
part there. There was a part there that sinabi that samurais can no longer carry swords. So pinagbabawalan. Okay, because of that specific time, there came a need for um, unarmed combat skills. So nag-flourish ang jiu-jitsu. Okay? Nag-flourish ang jiu-jitsu. So during that time, until the late 1800s, there were 4 major jiu-jitsu schools in Japan, or ryus, RYU. That's what they called it. Okay? There were 4 major ryus. And pero nagmo-modernize ng Japan. Okay? Halos wala na yung feudal era. Okay? There came about a more peaceful approach to pacifying conflict and all that. That's how they called it. And there is one student, a student who studied in 2 of the major schools of jiu-jitsu by the name of Jigoro Kano. Okay? And he was the founder of judo. He took everything that he could that was systematic about jiu-jitsu. He rearranged it, put structure to it, and then he invented Kodokan Judo. Okay? Kodokan Judo, he started his own school. Okay? It's actually a great story. Okay? Sobrang gumaling yung mga students niya na masyado ng, the story was, naging rival siya ng 4 major jiu-jitsu schools. Okay? The rivalry became so heated that by 1920s, okay, the Tokyo Metropolitan Police hosted a tournament, okay, 15 versus 15. So 15 from Kodokan Judo, 15 from the top 4 jiu-jitsu schools. Maglalaban sila. Kumbaga MMA. Noong time na yun. The winning school, sila yung pipiliin na magiging martial arts ng police sa Japan from then on. Okay. So the tournament happened. Judo won 13 matches and 2 draws. And up until today, okay, all the police in Japan are trained in judo. Okay? And that's a very big achievement. Okay? And at that time, also, Jigoro Kano, the one who founded judo, was not really, he's not an athlete. He's 5'3", okay? And he's a professor in the Tokyo Imperial University. Okay, so he's really a man of the academy. So if a small guy like him, who's not really athletic, he's not even brutish, he's not muscular, was able to perform all these skills, all these moves, because he structured the movements and he had a more cerebral approach to martial arts. He was able to perform it. And he says, if I can do it, everyone in the world can do it. So he started his school and he sent out emissaries from Japan to go out through the world and spread the gospel of judo. Okay? And by 1930, he was the first Asian to be included in the Olympic Council. Okay? And sadly, nung na-approve ng judo to be the first martial arts in the Olympics, he didn't make it. He passed away. But judo was the first martial arts from the Orient to be included in the Olympics in 1964. And it enjoyed that prestige up until around 1992 when Taekwondo was included in the Olympics. Okay, but for the longest time, it's always been judo lang. Now, the origin of the other martial arts, like karate, okay? Karate, judo, and judo were all created almost at the same era. Okay? In fact, the founding fathers of those martial arts, magkakaibigan sila. Jigoro Kano, of judo, Funakoshi karate, Ueshiba Aikido. They were all colleagues and they respected each other. In fact, they shared techniques. That's why you will find a lot of judo moves in karate. You'll find a lot of Aikido in judo, and you find a lot of striking movements of karate in Aikido and judo. So the collaboration then. Okay, so if you think about it, those martial arts aren't really that ancient. They were made in the late 1800s, 1890s. Okay, when karate was brought to, there was a war that happened, and then the Japanese occupation of Korea and all that. They were forced to be taught karate. But after everything, the Koreans converted karate and combined it with their existing kicking martial art already existing in Korea. That's how Taekwondo came out. So actually Taekwondo is younger pa compared to the other martial arts. So imagine, ang maganda kasi sa mga art na, especially judo and Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu, they were able to spread it throughout the world, and you have so many practitioners now. Okay, and one thing that came out of judo and Japanese jiu-jitsu is by the same time around 1920s, 1930s. Sorry, I might have mixed up my dates, so I'm sorry about that. But the story was one of the emissaries of judo went to Brazil. Okay, and this is Maeda. He's one of the disciples or students of Jigoro Kano. He was sent there to spread Brazil. he met the Gracie family.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're
Gracie
familiar. Again,
family.
are you familiar with the Gracies?
Of
Diba?
course.
Yeah, diba? And then in exchange to help him with his immigration to Brazil, the Gracies, Gustavo Gracie, was a politician. So in exchange to help him get established in Brazil, the deal was to teach him and his children, judo and jiu-jitsu,
Okay.
traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu. So the Gracie family learned all this, and then they turned it into something of their own, naging Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Diba? So, pasok
Mhm.
tayo sa first UFC where Royce Gracie introduced the art of
Of course.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Solid. Solid dyan. Naalala ko pa yun.
And there's so many, the thing is, the Gracie family is so big. And then,
Mhm.
like the cousins and everything, and one of the Gracies patented. This is the name Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So none of the other Gracie family members use it. So nagkaroon nagtalo yan eh, nag-away yan eh. To make a long story short, so if the others can't use Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, they just named it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
that's
So may
how it came
specifics
about.
pala yun.
Diba? Then they went to
Naipit.
Okay.
the US.
Mga groups. Yeah.
It's such a big market, diba? And they brought it there, and like any country built on capitalism. So napalago nila yon. Los Angeles houses like the most number of jiu-jitsu schools in the world next to Brazil, or maybe even more now. Okay, and jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which now again binabalik na rin namin yung tawag na just plain jiu-jitsu. Okay, even though there's a distinction between traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Okay, that sport now is the fastest rising sport in the world right now, with so many practitioners in almost all the countries, and it's bigger and bigger. Like I said, tingnan nyo, it's so big now. Now it's an event in Southeast Asian Games. Meron na rin siya sa
Yeah.
Asia. Okay, and now it's being lobbied to be part of the Olympics. So it's just
Yan.
getting okay. And ang maganda dito, if you really think about it, more than basketball, more than any other sport, Filipinos excel in combat sports. Okay? Sipin, the huling SEA Games, okay, and the huling Asian Games, halos lahat ng mga nag-medal sa Pilipinas, lahat martial arts event. Okay? And of course, kasama dun ang
Why? Is
boxing.
it like the build? Our build?
Yeah.
The Filipinos
Build ba?
build?
Not just the build, because the build you can just basically build it up, diba? I mean, you can just put somebody in the gym, put training, and you'll get a good physique. But and of course the skills are there. But I have this strong feeling, and I have this strong belief that it's because the warrior spirit of the Filipino.
I see.
So, I know it's corny, but sipin mo, dugong lapu-lapu tayo.
Siyempre.
Sipin mo
By the
yun.
way, yeah.
Diba?
Ano pala tayo? Yung mga Manny Pacquiao, sobrang solid. Sobrang fighter ni Manny.
Yeah.
Good
Okay,
good
I
yun.
agree. Manny Pacquiao.
So just with that name, who can deny that? Diba? This is something that Filipinos are good at. So we got what, fighting? No, I'm just gonna say combat sport. Okay. So there, and it's really great now that we're getting support and recognition, because our athletes really have a lot to show, and we can represent. See, that's the great thing about it. Okay.
Yeah. In regards pala dito, we have some friends joining in. Hi guys, so welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello guys. So basahin natin yung mga comments and questions niyo. Sabi ni Rayson, it was so expensive back then when I wanted to learn it.
Yeah.
Yung sabi ni Rayson, yeah.
And
Tapos sabi niya, Ali can...
now.
Ganun ba? More expensive now. And then sabi ni Rayson, Ali can make an ebook about this. So, syempre.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there later. I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay.
Tapos sabi ni Ange Gonzalez, Coach Ali presented jiu-jitsu to our children or students in preschool.
Okay.
Yeah, he explained it well, and some of them joined his kids class in Ateneo. Their team is great with kids. Yun, nice.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, tapos ito, we have a question from one of my good friends, Amira. Sabi niya, how has martial arts helped you with mental resiliency in business and personal life?
Good question.
That's a good question.
Very happy
Uh,
to. I will be very happy to answer that later through the course of this podcast. Okay, that's exactly why
mm.
I'm here. Thank you for that.
Yun, dadaanan natin yun mamaya. So, yun, guys, feel free to comment in. We're just having fun here, discussing everything, talking about anything, di ba? Pero, yeah, feel free to comment in and we'll read it. Yun. So, yun. Chris, yeah, we could go with
So I have a
our topics.
question. So we were
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking kanina, 'di ba? So,
Mm.
sinabi nga ni Coach Ali, yung mga Filipinos, fighters, 'di ba? So, what can you say about bullying naman
Oh, that's,
your perspective in bullying,
well,
workplace bullying, okay?
well, bullying of any kind is bullying, I think. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
when it has a physical aspect to it, it's almost the same thing, but it has to be handled sensitively now. I mean, before we hear the word bullying, when I was growing up, I was bullied. Almost everybody I knew was bullied, diba? And the form of bullying comes.
Unfortunately, I was the bully. I mean, ako yung bully, pero
That's right.
hindi.
But that's the thing. And sometimes bullies don't even know they're bullying somebody. Sometimes
Yeah.
bullying comes in the form of just teasing, diba? Or commenting on somebody on a kid's look or his shirt or how unkept his shoes are. Diba? For some people, they're not bullying, it's commenting. But for some people kasi, some people will have more, iba yung sensitivities nila. So there,
Mm.
bullying can
Yes.
come in the most subtle forms. Okay, and then yung may mga grabe na form naman, like, may physical na. So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's, it has something to do with the mental health issues also. Depende rin kasi kung sino binubully and paano binubully. I mean, we've seen cases like, remember before, this was quite sensationalized when there was this
Bugbog o dignidad.
high school, diba, by this small taekwondo kid. I don't magitin yung name, I don't magitin yung school, but that did happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Okay, we can try to psychologize, okay, the why it happened. In fact, yun nga yung nangyari. Ito since you mentioned it, when that incident happened, okay, kulang na lang manghimasok ako because I wanted to put my 2 cents into it because it happened somewhere very close to me. Na-sensationalize yung case. Diba?
Yeah.
On Facebook, on media, nag-focus sila nun sa bully. Basically, naging victim na rin yung bully ng online bully. Okay?
Yeah.
But that's the thing that's the consequence of what he did. Okay? And for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks even, tinitira lang nila talaga yung bully. Ang samang tao, na-involve pa yung kuya, pati yung dad, diba? Na umalis na ng eskwelahan, lumipat ng bansa.
Lahat.
Like
Ang galing ng mga detective dito.
I remember that's what happened.
Yeah.
But, man, my problem with what happened there is almost no one looked in the direction of the victim. Ano na nangyari sa kanya? Diba?
Yeah.
Diba? Parang, I'm sure the family naman kasi kept, wanted to keep their silence, pabayaan na lang sila para mag-recover yung bata. But nobody made a fuss out of it. Everybody just kept looking at na sensationalize yung bully. But what about the victim? How will the victim recover from something like that? Especially his humiliation went public. Diba?
Yeah.
That's
Naka-video
why it's a sensitive topic now. That's why I mentioned mental health issues, because you can't deny that there's a big chance that this kid will carry it for so many years in his life. It's not just something like, during my time, masapak ako sa mukha and I did. Okay? I brushed it off. Okay? I shrugged it off. I just manned up. Because back then, it was a lot simpler. Diba? It wasn't, nobody was taking videos of it. And the word of mouth of how it spread, it didn't really spread around. All I know is nasapak lang ako isang beses when I was 7 years old, and that was it. Now, pag may nangyaring ganyan, okay, you suffer the bullying. And then you suffer pa when people keep talking about it, people keep making you like a pity case. It's tuloy-tuloy eh. So yeah, definitely bullying is a very sensitive topic that has to be addressed. So, number 1, no to bullying. Okay? It's easy for people to bully somebody who seems weak. Diba?
Yep.
Bullies don't pick on anybody who they perceive as somebody who has strength or any form of strength. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
what fighting chance do people have against that? Let's say you have a very calm demeanor. Diba? You have a very, yung disposition mo is very cheerful. Okay.
Yep.
And hindi ka naman maangas. And would that make you prone to bullying? Probably. Okay. So what can someone like that do? Okay. So you got to show your strength. And you can't just show it on the spot when the bully just decided already na i-bully ka na niya. Because, kumbaga, nagbuelo na yung bully eh. Just because you stood up to the bully, he's gonna stop. Mas lalong hindi nangyayari sometimes eh. And if you antagonize them, di ba, he and his cohorts or his minions, baka tuluyan ka pa niya. So, I guess it's a matter of really showing out there na may dinadala kang strength eh. That's why conviction, strength of character, okay, being properly opinionated in certain aspects, those things matter. Eh? Because if you appear weak to somebody who has an inkling to be a bully, they will really feed on you. Okay, and I've seen this because I've been coaching for the last 27 years, 28 years na nga eh. Okay, and I've been coaching the high school. So first year high school pa lang, sometimes student ko na sila, first year high school pa lang, all the way till they graduate college. So maraming incidents na dumadaan sa akin na ganyan. Okay? And it's almost always the same. Okay? The bully just wants something or make himself feel better about himself at the expense of somebody else. It's just that. And how do you get rid of bullying? I don't think you can, because there will always be people like that. Diba? So it's a matter of empowerment. Okay? It's easy to think that learning martial arts can empower you, okay? But it's such a shallow reflection or way to think about it. Yes, it does, and it can. However, it's not because of learning physical skills to defend yourself. It's more of strengthening that person inside, because martial arts training in itself is not easy. Okay? And if you're able to sustain that, to really go to every session, to each grooming session, it's going to turn you into something. Okay? Get the bully out of the picture first. Just the guy, just that person seeking to be empowered. Okay? You put yourself through something like that, like a boot camp. Okay? And, these kids that are made to, like a 10-year-old kid who's made to do 50 push-ups. Okay? 50 push-ups may not be anything for a 10-year, for somebody, but for a 10-year-old kid na hindi pa niya ginawa before yan, on the 30th, nahihirapan na siya. Okay, 31, nahihirapan na siya. 32, gusto niya na mag-give up. And then the coach would be there, no, you can do this. Okay? Or maybe, hindi niya na kailangan ng coach. Maybe there's just something inside that kid that's just gonna like make him, no, I need to finish this. I need to finish this. And if you have a kid who finished those 50 push-ups, what do you think that kid will feel about himself once he gets up and feels and knows he finished those 50 push-ups? Definitely that kid will feel empowered. Okay? And that's just push-ups. Samo pa yung skills, yung striking skills, yung self-defense. And when you set him out into the world, what kind of energy will that kid convey to everyone? Okay? So if that becomes a person of strength, not just because of the skills, but because of self-confidence. At alam niyang kinaya niya yun. And that affects how people can relate to you. Okay? So ito yung mga hindi madaling mabully. Diba? And of course, you have to address the bully itself. Diba? So it's just so many things to consider. But definitely no to bullying. Okay? And it's a matter of empowerment. Okay? So yeah, there.
Yeah.
Ayun, dito na yung friend natin si George. Sabi ni George, hi, Coach Ali. I'm a fan. What's up, bro? Yeah, this is George. Yeah. Pero
Okay.
siguro to add to what you said, I'm thinking of a question kasi parang what happens when hindi natin mapipigilan yan. There are students na who become over-empowered. What mindsets can be installed or trained or ingrained sa student para hindi siya maging over-complacent, overconfident.
Hindi lumaki ulo, parang ganun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, syempre.
Balansin lang siya, tamang-tama.
We're talking about this from the, in the context of um, grassroots development. Okay, like children to
Yeah.
adolescents, high school to college. Okay, I've been doing this for more than 2 decades, almost 3 decades. Okay, malabas edad ko, sorry. But and ever since my thrust in my study of martial arts and in when I teach it now is I try to
Mm-hmm.
not just focus on the physical aspect of uh, of the martial arts. Okay, I guess it's my blood training. It has to be a more holistic type of development. Okay, because martial arts and sports is a great way to build character. Okay, especially for nowadays. Okay, when people shy away from adversity, people shy away from anything difficult. Okay, back then martial arts was providing all the character development that a lot of kids needed. Okay,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
um, sorry, sorry. So ano ba yung question? Wala yung train of thought ko bigla.
How
Yung question.
how can they be, not be too over
Yeah.
empowered? Yeah.
Okay.
Ayun,
So,
kasi marami kasi biglang pag lumaki yung ulo, minsan sila na nagiging bully, hindi na nila napapansin because of the
I'm getting
skill.
to that.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to help these kids. I've seen how many kids grow up, and of course, I've had the privilege and experience of getting to see their context, into family context, okay, context nila sa mga barkada nila, yung interactions nila, yung dynamics nila with their relatives and their friends, okay. Pag mga bandang high school kasi, and especially college, it's kind of hard to untrain the things they've learned already, whether it's already
Okay.
by home. In other words, it's how you were raised. Okay, to be honest, as much as I wanted to help certain people, like before, and I guess I can say this now. Okay, I've been handling high school kids and college kids.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them talk to me like some of them relate to me like I'm a third parent. Okay, and they know, and I welcome that. I really value the trust and the trust of the parents. They allow us to be
Mm-hmm.
a part of children's development. Okay,
Mm.
and in a lot of cases, as much as we'd like to help everyone, as much as we'd like what we do, like teaching martial arts and everything that goes with it, it's really with it's really with the upbringing. Okay, it's really with the upbringing, whether good upbringing or the lack of. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
example, I can't really do much to affect 17 years of this kind of upbringing. Okay, that's why the parents have really importante yan eh. Okay, it's not just supposed to be the teachers or the coaches. Actually, coaches pa nga eh, more than teachers if you ask me, because
Mm-hmm.
teachers can teach you knowledge, but coaches, okay, can teach you to be brave, can teach you not to give up. Okay, coaches can teach you many other things. Okay, to complement
Mhm.
what's already being taught at home, if it was ever taught or not. Okay, and I'm being honest here, and I know, and I'm not, wala akong pinakikinggan and wala akong sinasabing may mali, but it is a situation that most people and families and parents have to consider. Okay, and I've experienced having students having mental breakdowns, going to depressions, suicidal. I've experienced kids that really soar above their limitations. Okay, um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm particularly proud and happy for this one student of mine. I've had him since he was 14 years old or 15 years old. Okay, he was the poster boy for the ADHD Society of the Philippines. Okay, he was several times UAP champion and gold medalist. Okay, and now he's in law school. Okay, and he's doing so much and achieving so much because he was able to focus and conquer his condition or work with it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just all him. It was all him. So, like I said, martial arts can be very empowering. Okay? Tapos para doon sa sinasabi niyong paano yung address yung malaki ulo. Like I said, that's one aspect of it, the upbringing. Okay? And it also depends on the willingness of the individual to learn more things. Kasi hindi pwedeng kung ganito na ako, yun na yun. Di ba? And it's such a sad thing if you have an attitude like that at a very young age. Usually we have that when we're a lot older. But believe it or not, even with children nowadays, because they feel so empowered because of the information, the easy information they can get online anytime, diba?
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, diba? They feel so empowered and so they know everything already just because information is at their fingertips any given time. Feeling nila, they feeling na sila na yun eh. You know, like they know everything. But it's really there. It's
Coach Ali,
individual. Yeah.
yes, I have a question. Do you like do your students talk back? Do you, I mean, what do you do when they talk back?
Fortunately, okay, kasi sa judo ko, yun yung sa judo, it's more of a traditional art. It's a traditional martial art.
Okay.
And because of the nature of being a traditional art, there's a hierarchy that's being observed and
Yeah.
practiced. Okay? And that's very important.
Mm,
It's not for the coaches and the higher ranks na mag-power trip lang or mag-ego. There's a purpose for that kind of hierarchy to be observed. Okay? And because of that, the very first, for me, I've always said this, the very first lesson of any true and real martial art is, in Japanese, the word rei. R-E-I. R-E-I means bowing or to bow. Okay?
mhm.
That is symbolic of the value or the lesson of respect. Okay?
Mm,
Respect. Okay? It's really just that. Okay? For me, for any true martial art, okay, the very first lesson is respect. In Western culture, you show respect by a handshake. In Asian cultures, you show respect by a bow. Diba? It's not so much that
yes.
you nagpapasubjugate ka. It's really a form of respect because when somebody bows to you, you bow back or you bow together at the same time. Okay? And for me, that's really important because that's something that most people forget nowadays, the value of respect. Especially kapag malaki na masyado ulo mo, you don't feel like, you are under anybody. And most recently, I've been experiencing that. Okay? It's fine because hindi naman ako yung nagpalaki sa kanila and I understand. Diba?
Mm,
And people tend to be selective with the lessons they want to learn now. I mean, if it fits their ego or their whatever's convenient for them. But if you really want to learn uh, everything that you can from taking up martial arts, okay, it's best if you're not selective. You have to go through the entire spectrum, pati yung mga values and the codes that we follow. So the very first lesson is respect. And even till now, we practice it. People who do judo are actually more traditional. For example, even if we're not in the dojo or the gym anymore, magkasalubungan kami. If I see an old coach from another team, masalubong ko siya sa mall, I approach and I take a bow, and he bows back. Puti na, he's like 70 years old or something, and that happens. I see people who I encountered, my former students, they do the same thing. We always bow back. It's one way to keep practicing and reminding ourselves the importance of that value, of that virtue of respect. Imagine the world we live in now if everybody just respected each other.
Yeah.
But that's
Solid
nothing.
yun.
So that's why we do what we can. I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is actually, it's not a traditional martial art. It's actually a very modern one. Some gyms, Jiu-Jitsu, practice the old ways, but now kasi it's more of a commercial school, okay? And not a lot of people, follow that trend or the old ways. So now instead of bowing, they just slap and bump, but that's their version of respect, so it's still okay. There's always, at least may semblance that you respect your partner. In traditional martial arts, before you enter the room, you bow to the room. It signifies that you respect this is a sacred place of learning. Whenever you partner up with somebody, before you do any drilling or any form practice,
yes, wow.
to each other, it's a form that I respect you, I will take care of you, and the other person bows. It signifies he's going to do the same thing. And after the practice, you bow again to each other to express gratitude. Okay, so it's there. Okay. When it comes to, and this is what I like about judo and Brazil, especially Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Okay. To answer your question about people na, malaki ulo or something like that, what I love about Brazilian jiu-jitsu is, other than respect, okay, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a martial art that teaches you the very important lesson of humility. Okay? Because the very first thing na mangyayari, okay, once you start learning the moves and you start sparring, kasi judo and jiu-jitsu, they are sparring based. Okay, meaning the moment you learn moves, you can start juking it out already. Okay, and the ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu is to make the other person surrender, or what you consider, and it's signified by the tapping out.
Tap.
Diba? Tap out. So while you're new, man, I tell you, imagine this. Okay? You're new, tapos lalaruin ka ng mga
Now, 1 second pa lang ako, tap na ako.
alalayan ka ng mga senior. Okay? And ito imposibleng hindi ka nag-tap out sa buong career mo ng jiu-jitsu. Diba? As a white belt, as a new white belt, man, siguro in a day, every sparring session, you will tap out.
Tap out. Yeah.
Tap out ka. It's because that's the cycle of life in jiu-jitsu. The seniors will feed off you, but you learn in the process. They get to practice, you learn in the process. Pag ikaw naging senior, you're gonna do the same thing. Everybody goes through that cycle. Okay? And imagine spending the first few weeks or months of your study of jiu-jitsu, you're tapping out, meaning you're surrendering each time. You're acknowledging that I can't go on. Okay? You're acknowledging that you bested me. You're acknowledging that, okay, I surrender. That is a very big lesson in humility. Okay? But that also teaches you that you don't want to keep surrendering. You don't want to keep losing. That's why it teaches you also that you want to do better and that you have to keep fighting. But like I said, it's a great thing. That's why I love jiu-jitsu, because it teaches you humility. Okay? Because one of the first lessons you learn is how to surrender to somebody who bested you. Diba? Kung ma-pride ka, hindi ka kakapik eh. Kung ma-pride ka, you won't give up. Ang problema sa jiu-jitsu, pag hindi ka nag-tap out, tutuluyan ka. O pwede ka matuluyan.
Tutuluyan yung kamay mo. Mabuto.
Yung incident na nangyayari ganun in class, hindi sinasadya yun, of course. Kasi if you're the one doing the submission, as long as he's not tapping, that means in my head, it's not working.
Tuloy lang.
Yeah. Ito, diba? Diba? Hindi ko alam na tinitiis lang niya. So that's why it's important to tap out. See?
Okay.
So it's a beautiful, it teaches you humility.
Yeah. Ito, we have a question from George Ramos. Pero this is in connection with dun sa nasabi kanina in regards to iba na yung age natin ngayon when information is everywhere. So, ang tanong ni George, what can you say about millennials in general? What effective mindset can they adopt that will help them get through their 30s or early 40s? Yeah, challenging trap question to George.
That's a tricky question, man, because pwede ako mapasubo dito eh. Diba? Basically, you're asking me my viewpoint on millennials.
Yun nga. Ganun na.
Oh man.
Well, he is a friend. He is your friend, so he will ask that question.
Compared to Gen Xers like us. Yeah, that's the thing. You gotta give me first what your definition of millennial is, because there's so many things that have been thrown around already.
I'll give you a perception of millennials. Okay, so this is like...
galing.
Kay Christian galing.
Naku, mabash na naman tayo dito, Ken.
Applying for a job. You can see the difference between a millennial and somebody more senior applying for a position, when you interview them. Okay. So let it come from you.
Like there's a perspective, especially with HRs, okay? Because of everything that's, the behaviors that have been seen, okay? Like, for example, ghosting sa interview. They don't show up, okay? Yeah, that's one. Okay, so number 2, they don't show up. They schedule and then they confirm and then they don't show up. Okay, so that's one. Okay, so I'm just for the benefit of our viewers, okay, I'm just citing a common observation. Para hindi mabash.
Common.
Okay, so there's a perspective, there's an image of millennials that's being painted that they cannot be relied. They're not reliable. That's one. I think that's what George is saying. So he's asking what
painting.
George,
that's what George is saying.
So he's asking. So ganito na lang. How do you?
Okay, yun nga. Okay,
how can millennials use jiu-jitsu to maybe up their game or improve themselves? Safe.
I'm not judging them. because
Mhm.
sige, sabihin na natin ganito. Let's just say that eto si Little Boy Juan.
Mm.
Okay? Little
Little
Boy
boy.
Juan is not used to hard work. Okay?
Okay.
Little Boy Juan is used to being given things even if he didn't work for it. Okay? Little Boy Juan is not used to adversity or obstacles. Tama? All right. I'm not
Mhm.
naming it the M word. Okay? Here's the thing. You put Little Boy Juan in a jiu-jitsu class or in a judo class.
Mhm.
Okay? If you put him in a judo class, it's very strict. Okay? You have to take off your shoes before stepping on the mat. You have to bow before entering the place. Okay? You cannot speak out of turn. Okay? You can't pass hindi ka pwedeng dumaan sa harap ng sensei because mababastos mo siya. Okay? In some gyms, like yung champion UST team, okay, sorry, I just heard this. I don't know if it's true, but I understand the reason. Hindi ka pwede maglagay ng kamay sa bewang mo pag nakatayo ka.
Mhm.
Only the black belts can. I'm not sure. I just heard it from an alumni of theirs and a friend.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but there are reasons for that. It's to basically put you in place. Okay, and I don't say that to demean anyone or to put this not to put anybody in that context. It's basically if you want to act like this, if you want to start being like that, you have to go through the hierarchy. Okay, you have to respect the system, respect the structure. Okay, and if you're somebody who can't respect that, then definitely a person like Little Boy Juan will not thrive, and he will fail. Okay, but if he has it in him, okay, to subject himself to that kind of environment where everything's going to be controlled for a purpose, not just for the sake na ganun lang siya, because may reasons naman yan eh. Everything done in martial arts may reason. Okay? It's to make you better, to make you understand the lessons, and kung maka-bonus, make you a better person. Okay? Sa jiu-jitsu, it's a little more lax. Little Boy Juan can flourish there. Okay? Because everybody's welcoming. It's a more relaxed environment. Okay? When somebody approaches you, for example, it's a rule in most jiu-jitsu classes. Okay? If you arrive way before the start of the class, okay, you approach everybody in the gym. You shake their hand. Everyone. Okay? If you're late for class, you just before you just jump into the class, you approach the instructor. You acknowledge the instructor. Let him acknowledge you back. Shake his hand. Okay? It's ganun eh. See, it's a little more lax. So anybody who's joining Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, hey, these are buddies, these are pals. Okay? But the lesson starts when they start learning the techniques. The techniques they start very easy, and there are some that are very challenging. It makes the person, I can do this. I can do this pala. It starts with the easy one, may konting challenge, kaya ko din pala. And then comes the sparring. It's what I mentioned earlier. Okay? If Little Boy Juan is not used to adversity, he will be put in so many compromising positions, like as if he's being twisted into a pretzel. Okay, so if he's claustrophobic, if he's not used to being pinned down, he's gonna have an anxiety attack, or he's gonna just want to quit. Okay, but if Little Boy Juan has something inside him that tells him, no, kaya ko to, titiisin ko to, ayoko mapahiya, I don't want to fail, then it's gonna keep driving him, okay, and motivating him each session, and he's gonna want to come back until there's a full transformation of character. Okay, so yeah. Can martial arts help people like that? I believe so. Because here, for example, in Jiu-Jitsu, okay, in Jiu-Jitsu, I like the belt grading system. Okay, by the way, it's Judo that invented the belt system in martial arts. Okay,
Judo. Okay.
Yeah, because before, traditional Jiu-Jitsu only used the white belt. Okay, but in Japanese culture, the belt or the obi, okay, the belt or the obi symbolized their fighting spirit. So they don't wash it.
Okay.
They don't wash it. So, kasi pag winash mo daw, madadilute yung fighting spirit mo. So, the longer you've been a practitioner, the dirtier your belt gets. So, the darker your belt is, that means you must be a master. Oh, mataas ka na.
Yeah.
What Judo did
black belt.
yeah, exactly. That's why the black belt is symbolic of
Stig.
Yuninghayan. Because of that. because in Japanese culture, they don't wash their obi. Obi means belt, okay? And when judo was established, okay, ginawa nila ng belt system. Tatlo lang, white, brown, and black. Okay? Kumbaga, and then that's one of the contributions of judo to the modern martial arts belt system. Like karate integrated it. Nilagyan nilang iba-ibang colors, orange, green, blue, and even jiu-jitsu. What I like about Brazilian jiu-jitsu is in order to get, there are 5 belts: white, blue, purple, brown, black. In order to get a black belt, it's an average of 10 years.
Wow.
Okay. Other martial arts,
Average.
in other striking arts, they give it to you in a year or 2 because ganun ang system. But in jiu-jitsu, that is the most sought after thing once you start. Okay? Sobrang taas na some people don't even think they're gonna reach it. Makaabot lang sila ng next belt, okay na, they disappear. Yung blue belt. Kaya nga mayroong term sa jiu-jitsu na blue beltitis eh. Pag nagka-blue beltitis, wala na, alis na siya. Okay? Because it's an average of 10 years to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got mine in 10 years. Walang shortcuts. Okay? And yun eh. If you're gonna stick to this, man, things won't be given to you, for free. There's no entitlement here. Okay? If you want that belt, you work for it. If you want your belt faster than the average time per belt, you gotta show something different. You gotta join the competitions. You gotta clean house. Okay, you gotta show promise. You gotta show that you're excelling more than the others. Yeah, pwede ka naman ma-fast track eh. There are people who got their black belt in 4 years or even 3 years. Okay, but they're medyo phenom na yung mga prodigy na. But the average is 10. Nobody gets it for free. Okay. So
we have a question, Ali. Sabi ni Anton Garcia. Hi, Anton. Sabi niya, what are your thoughts on stripes within each belt?
Okay. My school mismo, we decided not to use the stripe system, but almost everywhere and around the world, it's practiced. Hold on. I'm going to come back on it. Yeah. Okay. Here's a white belt. This is what that person asked me. For every jiu-jitsu belt, there's a black bar.
Okay.
We call it sleeve or half. Pag black belt ka na, this bar is red. Okay. Now, I don't know why I have this. I think I took it home by mistake. Somebody left it. Anyway, you notice there are 2 stripes. Okay, 2 stripes. Pag nakaabot ka na ng 4, okay, you get for every promotion you get 1 stripe. Okay, and then pag nakaabot ka na ng 4 stripes, your 5th promotion is the next belt color na.
Okay.
Okay. So, depende kasi sa system yan eh. I mean, before in my old team, we used to do the stripe system. Okay, but you have to be able to quantify you have to be objective about grading your students. Okay, hindi pwedeng because feel mo lang, or some people just resort to tenure. Okay, but that is probably yung pinaka what do you call this, easiest way to gauge somebody, but not necessarily the best way. Okay, so stripe system. Okay, it's very encouraging for students because at least nalalaman nila kung malapit na sila. Diba? And it gives them a feeling of, pag na-reward kayo ng isang stripe, it's a very rewarding feeling and it becomes more motivation for them. It becomes motivational. Okay? Definitely, in competition naman, ang problema lang nun, malalaman ng tao kung ilang stripe ka na. Let's say, kasi the beauty of jiu-jitsu is you usually compete in your own belt division. Okay? So kung white ka, white din ang kalaban. Pero ako, 4-stripe white belt na ako. Ang kalaban ko, 1-stripe white belt. I have the psychological advantage.
Oo, mas experience ako dito.
Exactly. Okay. That can happen too. But I think it depends on the school if they wish to follow the stripe system. My school, the way I was teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, the way I'm teaching it is I don't put stripes. Okay? My colleagues and I before decided not to, and I saw the benefits of it. Ang nangyari, my students, generally, they weren't belt conscious. They didn't care about their belt. They're just interested in getting better and knowing more. So before, I have white belts who would beat purple belts. I have blue belts who kaya tumapat sa brown belts. Purple belts who would beat black belts. They don't care. Okay? Hindi sila belt-oriented. Para sa kanila, just keep studying, keep training. And for me, that was great. that was the effect of not following a stripe system for my school. But I can
Okay.
only speak for myself. But it's a system that's being used worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, okay, and yeah, and I can see
Yun.
why. For some people, it's a business. Okay, keep giving them stripes, it keeps them going back for more. You know what I mean? So yeah, maraming aspects
Reward.
involved. Yeah, it's a reward system.
Yeah.
Okay.
May reward siya pag ganun. Yeah, hope that
Yep.
answers your question, Anton. Yeah, Chris, basahin ko lang yung comment ni Jihan. Yeah, she
Yeah.
shared something eh. Nabubulol pa ako. She
Jehan
shared.
is one of my, well, he's, see, Jehan is a nurse. He's about
Okay.
to, he has already been approved going to the US. Okay, so he's one
Yun.
of my students in IELTS.
Hi, Jan. Yeah, basahin ko lang yung statement mo. I started learning martial art when I was in high school. Started with Jeet Kune Do, then Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. Reason for learning before is to be empowered. Yeah. Gusto ko ibuli mga bully sa school. Ha ha ha. ayos. Ayos. But after a couple of months, perception changed. Once you grasp the concept of martial art, promise, being too confident and mayabang is the first na mawawala sa ugali mo. Martial arts is a
Yeah.
pathway to self-actualization. And to not
Exactly.
take responsibility is to put a wall in the path. Yung solid to mga,
When I hear
ganda nito.
stuff like that, it just affirms me of what I do. So God bless you. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes, Jan. Yeah. Tapos, we must be able to protect ourselves and those whom we love. We learn that if we don't take responsibility, we may lose the things most dear to us. With
Oh,
this
that's pretty good.
knowledge, yan, solid. Ano to, send ko sa With this
Alam mo
knowledge, we become
si
more
Jehan,
aware.
I'll tell
Ah,
you,
yeah,
ang
ano?
lakas ng fighting
Sige.
spirit niyan. Ken, si Jehan, ang lakas ng fighting spirit niyan. Alam mo, ano yan, well, kasi past na, so, hi Jehan, I'll reveal it, okay? Kasi we were studying
Ayan, makinig ka.
for, we were studying for IELTS. Alam mo, he was
Okay.
very, alam mo, yung schedule niya as a nurse, ano
Hmm.
yan, hindi natutulog yan. But he would like
Okay.
really be present for our class online. Okay, so he's all the way in Saudi Arabia. And by the way, flagging lang, he's one of our guests in our next podcast,
Oh,
Buhay OFW.
Oh, yeah, yung midnight podcast natin.
you should
Yeah,
have joined
pero
this one
since
too.
we're talking about discipline now, yeah, any tips on how to work with discipline? And
Come on.
probably let's go with the M word then. Any tips, Ali, in regards to motivation, and what are your thoughts about it? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's put it in this context. Okay.
Sige.
Martial arts is martial arts. Okay. It's more encompassing than just sports or competition. Okay. And that's always been my approach. However, okay, just to so I can expound more on those two subjects that you mentioned, which is discipline and motivation. Let's take this into the realm of competitive sports. Okay. But definitely, if you're a competitor, it suddenly it takes a different turn. If you're just a martial artist, I don't mean to say just not just, but if you're studying martial arts, okay, you just want to learn, okay, you just want to add something more to what you know, then that's fine, okay. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, people who don't compete but they love learning it, okay, tinatawag silang weekend warriors, okay. But yeah, may mga ganun. But to help me expound more on those two subjects that you mentioned, let's take it into the realm of competitive sports. Because the burden or the challenge for people who want to compete, okay, in judo or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's different, okay? It's on the same path. They just have to do it more. They just have to do it faster. They just have to do it stronger, okay? And then your resiliency in terms of physical resiliency and resiliency in terms of fortitude and convictions and yung tatag mo. All right, yon. We're gonna have to center on that. The discipline part, siguro, like I said, I've been handling varsity teams ng Ateneo. Okay, oh, no nice video. Anyway, am I still there? Am I good?
Honest.
Okay. I started,
Ken is actually doing some magic. That's why.
diba, the teams that I handle in Ateneo, in high school and college, they're
Mhm.
varsity. So basically, they are competition teams. This is not the judo club. This is the judo team.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's actually easier to inculcate discipline into these young guys. Okay. It was a lot
Uh-huh.
easier way back. Zero from the late 90s up until the late 2000s. Yeah. Okay. Everything after that was different. Kasi doon na pumasok yung mga little boy Juan. Okay. But it was a lot easier because you start at a young age. Okay. When you get them used to
Mhm.
it already, it becomes second nature to them. This is the importance of, diba? It's just like parenting. You start them young. Okay. You already give them instructions, even though they don't understand why they have to do it. I do. As the coach and as the instructor, I know that what I'm telling them to do will benefit them in the long run. Okay, because it will lead to the development of the skills that they're going to need when they step on the mat to fight it out. Okay, even though some of them don't understand it, it's okay because the view is different from where I'm sitting. Okay, and the view that they're looking at is ito lang pinagagawa sa kanila. But in terms of discipline, you just have to keep at it. Um, First, this is what I like if you're a competitor. You need to identify your strengths and you need to identify your weaknesses. Okay. In training, I see that a lot. Okay. Because whether judo or jiu-jitsu, we subject them to the warm-up exercises. Okay. So warm-up exercises pa lang, I can already identify the strengths and the weaknesses of the athlete. Okay. Certain basic movements. If the person gets it correctly, okay, that means malakas na yung katawan niya, malakas na for it. Okay? And then yung kanyang kinesthetic intelligence, kuha niya yung movements. Diba? In the realm of multiple intelligence, diba? There's kinesthetic. Diba? It's how they're able to coordinate what they're thinking to their bodily movement. Diba? So, nakukuha nila. Okay? And then nakikita ko din yung mga people nagsa-struggle. I mean, a simple basic hip movement on the floor, hindi nila magawa. Okay, so nakikita ko already. I can tell who has potential in this and those who will be struggling. I can already tell dun pa lang sa warm-up exercises. So from the point of view of the practitioner or the athlete, these exercises will give you an idea kung anong strengths mo, anong weaknesses mo. Okay? And you have to be able to identify them because the strengths are already there. Okay? It's easy to hone there. It's the weaknesses that you need to work on. If you can call them that, weaknesses or just points or areas for improvement there. I think it's better to refer to it that way. The areas for improvement, okay, start working on it. Because that's where the reason why they have that area, okay, na kailangan ng attention is maybe napabayaan nila or talaga naturally their muscles aren't their muscles or their coordination isn't really geared for that yet. So how do you address it? Okay. You go to training each day, you go there, you keep doing the same thing, you do it wrong. Okay. The next day you aim to do it right. There's a little bit of improvement, you're 1% better. The next day you come again, you notice there are changes. Okay. And the more exercises you do that complement that certain action you need improvement on will actually allow you to be stronger. So the next time you do it, it's not just 1% improvement. Next thing you know, after 3 weeks, this person is doing that move perfectly. Okay, therefore erasing one area of improvement or weakness, and now they can move on. See, but what does it take to do that? It's discipline. Okay? Discipline and motivation. Diba? Yung binanggit kanina ni Ken. Diba? So, discipline is practice. The simplest manifestation of that is the repetitive practices that we do. Okay? Through repetition, it serves many purposes. Like if you want to do a certain move, you do repetitions of it, reps. Okay. If it's a floor exercise, you do from one end of the hall to the other end of the mat. Diba? You keep doing it, paulit-ulit until your body gets it. Okay. It's like reading a book. If you want to memorize a line or two, you keep reading the line again and again until you memorize it. But there's also such a thing as muscle memory. Okay. But you have to have the discipline to keep doing it again and again, like in judo, in order to learn a move to perfect it, you have to do it like 300 to 500 times per training session. And you have to keep doing that for weeks on end before you can actually say that you've mastered that throw. Okay? Repetition. Okay? And that's discipline. Okay? Because at any given time, after doing a certain movement, no matter how simple or complicated it can be, after a few repetitions, it's easy for anybody to just say, tama na yan, I've done enough. Diba? It's easy to say, okay na ako dyan. Diba? Pwede na yan. Enough na. See? And when something like that happens, boom, there goes the discipline. Diba? And that thing you can see in other aspects of our lives. Even as simple as getting up early in the morning. Even as simple as eating the foods that you're just supposed to eat at that time, okay? Or eating the wrong foods. See, yun yung discipline. It's repetition talaga, okay? I guess it's part of the book that I'm going to be releasing soon, okay? It's all about habit, okay? It's all about making a habit out of these things, or good habits. Okay? If you form these habits, it becomes second nature to you. Okay? And you're gonna do this. Why? Because ano yung motivation mo? Siyempre, yun eh. You keep doing this. Why? You want to be a world champion. You want to be able to perform in that competition. You want to win. Definitely, if you're a competitor, you want to win. I've always said this to my athletes. Okay, nobody competes to lose. Diba? Who the hell does that?
To win the game.
Diba? Exactly. It's ridiculous to compete and say you want to lose. Nobody does that. That is never a thing. Okay? But that's the thing. Pero ito yan eh. We can say that, okay, but not everybody can say, no, I'm going to win. Okay? Nobody will have the confidence. Sabihin lang is, bahala na. We'll see what happens. Some people get away with it if you're naturally gifted, but I'm talking about the attitude. Diba?
Can I just squeeze in this question? Because I've noticed this, okay? In Filipinos, okay, you said so yourself, diba? We compete to win, okay? So we have to be confident. But what can you say about false modesty? Yung pa-humble. Like, kasi people have a tendency, like, I've noticed this, yung parang short-changing yourself. Like, hindi naman ako ganun kagaling. Ganun.
Now, that is an issue that involves the ego. Okay? Right? It is. Because what is the ego?
Yes.
But basically, your self-image that you want to project, that's why you live it out. But it's really for the benefit of other people. Diba? Right?
Not you.
So, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because, it's very easy to become egotistical in martial arts, especially if you get better now, or if you're getting good at it, or and even when you're struggling, okay? In almost all martial arts gyms, especially jiu-jitsu and judo, you would often see a sign outside the door that says, please leave your ego outside the door. Okay? Now, the reason why most people put that there is because they see the ego as an obstacle to learning, which is true. It really is. Okay? But me, I've actually used that also. But after so many years of contemplation about the role of the ego, because your ego is not your enemy. It's there for a reason. Okay? It's one way for you to protect yourself also. There is a role that the ego plays. Okay? And it's, para sa akin, I don't believe anymore about leaving your ego outside the door or leaving your egos off the mat. Why? Because I think the mat or the gym or the martial arts gym is one of the best places for you to work on your ego. Okay? Because an ego can be something that can help motivate yourself. It's your self-perception even. About whether it's grounded properly or not. If it's part of your ego that you don't give up. If it's part of your ego to always try to be the nice guy, whether it's real or not, but it's part of you that you want to live out for whatever purpose it serves your ego, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Because it would be a sadder thing if your ego kicks in and you have no way of controlling it. Diba? It's a matter of you knowing when to use your ego, or, diba? Or learning how to control it. Just like an emotion. Diba? So me, it's in my firm belief that leaving your egos outside the door may not be the best idea. Okay? I really believe that the dojo or the mats is one of the best places for you to hone or develop your ego, or to allow yourself to control it. Okay? So that you can be productive, so that you can be positive, and that you can work on it in a very constructive and positive environment. Diba? So there, I don't know how that works into false modesty, but yeah, I mean, because like, para sa akin, that's a question about ego, eh. Diba? Especially in jiu-jitsu, like I said kanina, ayaw mong matap out, ayaw mong matalo. Let's say you're a blue belt, you're a purple belt, and then you play with this phenom, a white belt pa lang, diba? You don't want to roll with him because alam mo he's a phenom. Pag tinalo ka niya, nakakahiya. At senior ako, tinalo ko ng pagman sa akin. And that actually happens a lot. Okay? It's not a strange thing. It's not a rare thing. It happens a lot. Okay? But if you develop that kind of attitude, na umiiwas ka na lang sa mga taong alam mo makakatalo sa'yo, diba? In training pa lang to, diba? Ano mangyayari sa'yo? Wala kang mapapala dyan sa ginagawa mo. You're paying your monthly dues for nothing. Diba? That's why I said the mat is a good place to work on your ego. Okay? For one thing, the truth must come out. If you're a slacker, no matter how senior you are, if a hardworking white belt kicks the shit out of you, sorry, okay?
Ayos lang yan. Madalas nga magmura dito eh. Okay lang yan.
If that happens, now that is an opportunity for you to work on your ego. Diba? Kasi kung iniwasan mo yun, you won't be able to work on your ego. But since it happened, this white belt, diba? This like, you know, an assuming white belt, happy siya, bigla kang pinagsasubmit and you're a purple belt. Man, big blow to the ego. Like, oh man, I'm just gonna crawl under a rock. Diba? But if you're gonna succumb to that, ano mangyayari sa'yo? You can actually use that as an opportunity to like take a deep breath and okay, that shouldn't be. Okay? And it's a wake-up call for you to start doing something about it. See? Because if your ego is in check, then that's what you'll do. Diba? Pagbubutihin mo. Because the truth is, the white belt should not be able to do anything to the purple belt. That's the truth.
Okay.
Kaya nga may belt system. Pero since nangyari, either sobrang galing ng white belt, and that really does happen. But in terms of perspective na lang, para maayos natin, the purple belt dapat mag-ayos ka. Okay? Don't shy away from the lesson that you can learn there. It just says na, okay, it's time for you to learn new techniques and get good at them so that this will never happen again. And ano maging result nun, pag yun na nangyari, then you will have a purple belt who will really deserve that purple belt. Di ba?
Deserving. Yeah.
See, that's the role.
So, Ken,
that's
do
how
we have
you
more questions?
train your ego to work for you and not against you.
Yung Christina, you're asking for the question. Siguro babalikan ko yung question ni Amira. Yeah. How has martial arts helped you with mental resiliency in business and personal life? Yeah.
Dami yan. That's too broad. I mean, how did martial arts
help you with mental resiliency in business and personal life?
Okay. So let's talk about my experience. All right. When I started martial arts, I was a cocky kid. Okay. I was very arrogant. I was 17. Okay. No, I was 17. I think I was still 16 16 to 17. Okay. My approach now was a lot different from how I was before. Okay. And in fact, if I think about how I was before, I napapa-cringe pa rin ako. But I was young. Okay. But it did me some good to be that arrogant, to be that ma-pride. Okay. Because I was an athletic kid. I really was. Mm-hmm. But I never really took up martial arts up until I had no choice but to enroll in that judo PE class where I met my wonderful sensei, and he took me under his wing. Okay? Na-challenge ako eh. Okay? Um, yung P class na yun, it culminates into yung finals namin culminates into a tournament between other judo classes in our school and the judo classes from UP, from UPCHK. Okay? And ako naman, yabang ko nito. I was a heavyweight. Okay? It's a lot heavier back then than now. Malakas lang talaga ako eh. But I had parang little to zero technique. Dinadaan ko through brute force. Okay? And I was winning. And I felt great about myself. Okay? And I said, I'm the bomb. I'm the shit. You know? Parang kahit yung mga seniors ko na sumali sa judo team way before me, tinatalo ko. Okay? Okay, and then, syempre, ngiti lang ng ngiti yung coach ko, yung sensei ko. Sige lang, because he just really wanted to he just wanted to use my ego again. He wanted to recruit me in the team. Okay, noong time wala pa sa team, but sa club pala. Okay, he knew what he was doing. So, you know, doon ako bilib sa kanya. He knew that my ego would eventually lead me to join the club. Okay, so yun, nag-champion ako doon sa PE finals namin. And then, okay, nagpa-hard to get pa ako. Siguro it took mga more than a month para ligawan niya ako just for me to join. Kasi yun, ang galing ko eh, di ba? Okay. And then nag-train ako. And when you line up, pag formation na, by rank yan eh. Okay. In my head, I was the top dog. Okay. And when he made us all line up, he put me dead last. And that 17-year-old kid was thinking, what the hell? Why the hell am I here? I can beat the shit out of everybody here ahead of me in the line. Okay? And in my head, I was like, that didn't make sense. That makes sense. Okay? Two things came to mind. I would quit this thing because this is unfair. Okay? Or, you know what? Sige, I'm going to prove my worth. Okay? Pero it was still motivated by ego. As I said, at this time, it did me good, okay? But between the two choices, okay, my ego worked for me na it didn't make me quit, okay? Mali yung motivations, okay? The motivations weren't that mature yet, but my ego played, I played into my ego there, okay? So I stuck around. And you know what? Guess what? I actually learned some technique. I actually learned the real judo. And next thing you know, I was moving like a real judo person. Okay, and then I realized ko, and in the process of doing that, okay, throughout the weeks and the months, napansin ko na wala na yung yabang ko. Okay, nawala na yung yabang ko, and then mas na-appreciate ko na yung mga taong nagsa-struggle. Because I struggled there. I wanted to get so good that I felt the struggle. I felt that I knew nothing. Okay, and so I'm glad that I was born into my martial arts that way. Okay, because I was dead last. And then 2 years after, I was already standing in front of the line. I wasn't even part of the line anymore. Okay, my sensei, my coach resigned. Because I think noong time na yun, parang pinagbawalan bigla ng dean ng CHK na mag-side job yung mga faculty nila. And he was really with UPCHK. Nagsa-sideline lang siya sa Ateneo. So when he left, I had to take his place because nobody else could. So I became the coach of Ateneo after that. So yeah, and it started there. And I was born into martial arts thinking that, you know, I had it all, that I'm the bomb. And yet, it turns out I wasn't. And I'm so grateful to my sensei that he put me dead last in that line. And to make me, you know, it was really a way to humble me. And he didn't do it na diyan ka lang. He was smiling lang. Dito ka muna, Ika. I was like, what? And then it continued, di ba? I developed my skills. And one notable thing, during my first year as coach, okay, it was a struggle, but it was my, naging member ako ng palarong pambansa team ng NCR, where my coach was, yung coach ko yun, yung actual coach ko din talaga. Dinala niya kami sa Soc Sargent, yung palarong pambansa. I won the gold there, yung palarong pambansa. Okay, and pagbalik namin sa Manila, yun, nag-resign na nga siya. And then I had to take over. The following year, and that same year, in UAAP, okay, for me, that was uh, landmark ng buhay ko yun, or something very memorable because I was not the coach of Ateneo. My first coaching year, and yung champion team na UP, ang coach nila, yung coach ko.
Wow.
So I was going against my own sensei during my first coaching year. Okay, that was you
Wow.
school 97, 98. And you can just imagine how heavy that was for me because I respected and I loved my sensei. Okay, but siya yung coach ng UP. So, it was difficult, but you know what? It was special also because yun, nung time na yun, nagma-masters na ako sa Ateneo. So I was still eligible to compete. So I was a playing coach. And my brother, who was actually my senior in judo, he took judo 5 years ahead of me. Freshman na siya. Freshman college na siya. So we were in the lineup. Okay. We won the championship for that year. For the very first time, Ateneo won the UAP championships of judo that year. And man, I swear, it was so hard sitting across my sensei, my coach, on the other side of the mat. But yeah, and he was so proud of me. And more than the championship, it's how he was so proud of me. So I carried that. Yeah. I carried that. In terms of development, then after that, I have to say, my journey continued. There were so many life lessons I learned. As a competitor, okay? As a competitor, dati, I was very arrogant, but I was good at what I did, okay? I was the national heavyweight champion of judo for 5 years, okay? And I knew no one could beat me, okay? Yung yabang ko lang na yun, eh. You know, there was one time there was a national championships, okay? Nationals yun. I didn't train for 3 months, okay? I just signed up and I joined and I won the darn thing, okay? Hindi ako nagyayabang. It's just, I'm telling you, it's malaki ang nagagawa ng arrogance at bilib sa sarili. Okay?
Totoo yun. Totoo yun. I second that.
I had no training. I was coming off an injury and vacation. I just joined it, and you know what? I won it. Okay, all because I had the tenacity or the arrogance to actually do that. But now, since I'm a coach already, I would never let anybody do that. You know? If you're gonna compete, you prepare for it. Okay, you train for it. Train 2 to 3 months prior to the comp. But it was just one story that was very, very special for me because I pulled it off just by sheer belief. Okay, physical-wise, mas lamang yung mga kalaban ko because they did train for it. They were a lot younger, and during that time, I was the smallest heavyweight in the country. Okay, all of them were towering over me. All of them were like 50 to 80 pounds heavier than me. Okay, because I was small. Okay, I mean I was fatter, but I was still small compared to all my opponents. Okay, so that was very notable for me. Because of that, it led me to think the power of belief, the power of confidence. Imagine mo, wala akong training, ah. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I just pulled it off just my sheer belief in myself. So, naisip ko later on in life, in my career, na imagine combining that kind of belief in yourself, that kind of confidence with actual training and actual preparation, okay? Then, man, you're going to come up with a real monster on the mat. Okay, and that's what's been one of the guidelines for me when I train my championship teams, when I train my championship athletes. Okay, you prepare for this. You prepare for this period. You train for it, and of course, there's a secret, or there's a way to actually do that. Okay, and one thing about my martial arts journey that I would like to share with everyone also, and it's something that I've been living out. Something that I learned on the mat, or probably I learned even before I stepped on the mat, and I applied it on the mat, and it even affirmed me more, is that I don't give up. I've learned that I can actually live that statement out. Okay, there were 2 incidents in my competition career. I think it was 1999, the Quezon City Mayor's Cup. Okay. Actually, no, before that, 1998, palarong pambansa in Bacolod. It was held in the Lasang gym there. Okay. Prior to leaving for Bacolod, I got injured while playing with my teammate. Okay. Pumutok yung tuhod ko, pumutok yung ankle ko. All right. And naka-immobilize yung leg ko for like 2 weeks. And then we were leaving in 2 weeks na, and I couldn't move. I was really injured. Okay, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to miss it because that was my last eligible year for palarong pambansa. Okay, kasi master na ako nun. So we went there to Bacolod to compete. So okay, I was so desperate to like play. I entered a rehab program sa St. Luke's noon. Wala pa kasi sa Ateneo nun eh. But meron sa went to sports rehab. Hindi makuha. I was so desperate. I went to a pranic healer. And you know what?
Oh, okay.
It helped. Okay, it helped. It really did. It made a believer out of me. My swollen knee was so bad he didn't want to touch it. He touched my other knee, and then he kept pressing it, and I was howling like a. It was so painful the way he did it. Okay, and in my, kwento lang to in front of my very eyes, the inflammation of my left knee suddenly lumiit in front of me. And then he said, "Go, takbo ka sa garden ko." Sabi ko, sira ulo ba to? Takbo sa garden mo. I went here in crutches. And then, surprisingly, tumakbo ako. And I was able to run. And, because of that, napasama ako sa Bacolod. I was able to compete. Okay, however...
Saan tong, offshore? Overseas, pranic, or here lang?
Ito lang. His name was Mang Angel. Anyway, it just sort of...
Okay.
It actually happened. Okay, anyway... so yeah, it was there, and during my match, my semifinals match, okay, pumutok yung tuhod ko. As in, kalaban ko was this behemoth from Baguio, okay, and binubuo na ako nung crowd because I was slow in getting up. Nung reset nung referee yung match, I had to stop, and then I was trying to struggle to I can't, my leg was unresponsive already, okay, but when the match started, sabi ko, man, I'm going to do a Hail Mary pass here. So there's this one move that I know, and it's a very difficult move. It's a grappling move where I basically jam him down until he falls on his knees, and I jump over his shoulder and automatically roll and end up in an arm bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was way before I started jiu-jitsu or even knew about jiu-jitsu. I was already a grappler. So, man, I won. And then my finals match was actually, I still couldn't work. I couldn't still stand properly, but mas madali na yung kalaban ko sa finals. But imagine if I gave up. If I gave up, okay, ang mangyayari wala lang, diba? Kasi injured na naman ako eh. Okay, and alam ko na extent ng injury ko. I could have just called it quits and have an excuse. I didn't win because injured ako eh, diba? And that would have been perfectly fine. That would have been perfectly fine. Everybody would have understood. Okay, I would have been able to suck up that bad feeling na hindi ko na panalunan, and I just decided to hide behind my injury. But it was a real injury. Okay, but something said I should fight. Okay, and I chose to fight, and I actually won that. Now I'm able to tell you this story, this awesome story. Okay, and yeah, all because I decided not to give up, and I remember that instant. Okay. Along with this other story, Quezon City Mayor's Cup, a year after, okay, in the middle of my finals match, my shoulder got dislocated. As in, my shoulder popped out. In the socket, this part, it popped out, and it was dangling. And I only had one functioning arm. It's a judo batuhan kasi yan eh. Okay. And I popped it in by myself in the middle of the match.
Wow.
Because I know how. But
Masakit.
I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. But I couldn't let the referee know that I was injured because the moment he sees I'm injured and dislocation, he would stop.
He's going to stop it.
I was careful. Yeah. I was careful. But so I knew how to pop it back in, and I did. Okay. Siyempre yung luha ko, hindi nila nakita. So I had to jam it back into place.
Sorry.
Nagano ka ba? Nagganit ko kung ganyan ka ba?
But you know what? Fight lang.
When you popped it, nagganyan ka. Kasi umiiyak.
Nakarigula ako. And I decided to fight. You know what? And I got the guy in a very, very, very impressive suplex. Okay. Then I had to lift him way above my head, and I body slammed him to the mat, and that gave me my win. Okay. And you know what? These were major tournaments and these were non-major tournaments, but the point is, I was able to test my limitations. I was able to test that even during that kind of incident where my body was broken, it was not enough to make me give up. And ever since then, I've been so curious at what else, how far can I take this? Is it just bravado, or is it something that's so innate in me already because of the training and the confidence that I have, that I actually have it in me not to give up? So whatever thing, whatever challenge faced me in my life after that, okay, I just remember that it's not in my nature to give up. Okay, no matter how much adversity faces me, not in my nature to give up. Okay, because that's what my martial arts taught me. Because I chose to do martial arts,
Mhm.
I had those experiences. Okay, not many people can say that. Diba? And I'm thankful. I'm very grateful that I had that opportunity to be tested that way. So yeah, that's how resilient I realized. And most recently, um, I actually retired from competition, but in jiu-jitsu also because jiu-jitsu in competition ko. But what do you call this? I started competing again in 2014, okay, in the Asian Championships in Japan, jiu-jitsu. Okay, I joined my first year out of retirement. I didn't do so well, nag-bronze lang ako. Okay, so sabi ko, you know what? Kaya naman pala eh. So I started working out. I lost 20 pounds. Okay, as in this is the slimmest and lightest I've been in since I was college. Okay,
Mhm.
since I was high school pala, not college. College malaki ako. High school. Okay, so
Mhm.
2015 I went back to Japan. I won the gold. Okay, it was such an awesome feeling standing in the podium and holding the Philippine flag. Okay,
Mm.
2016 I went back. Same thing. Okay, I won the gold. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, and it was so awesome because I did it with my teammates, my own jiu-jitsu school, and they were all winning too, and we won the overall championships. Our team in the Philippines won the overall championships 3 years in a row. Okay, and this is the team that I led to
Awesome
go there.
stories, no? Yeah.
And
So,
then on 2017, you know what? I was experiencing so many personal difficulties. So maraming
mm,
nangyayari sa buhay ko. You know what? I decided I'm there. Okay, I bought the ticket. I went to Japan, and my heart wasn't in it anymore. But
Okay.
sabi ko, it's not in my nature to give up. So I fought. So during my finals match, I was up against this Brazilian. Um, I was up against this Brazilian, and he was good, man. I mean, he wasn't in any of the previous competitions. The first time I'm seeing him, and he's a monster. Okay. He outscored me the first parts of our match, and
Mm.
then, as in, ang hirap na habulin. I had less than a minute. Okay, less than a minute. Let's say,
mm,
sabihin, he was like 6 points ahead. Okay, and it's so easy to give up at that point. I mean, what can I do in less than a minute, right? But you know what? Not in my nature to give up. So the moment the referee restarted us, I went to work, man. I did everything. Okay, nahabol ko yung points, and then I got this position where it would have given me the winning points, but the time ran out.
Ay, sayang.
Okay. But the time ran out. I was so disappointed because I wanted a Grand Slam. I wanted 3 years in a row gold ako sa Japan. That way, kung mag-retire man ako, I can say that, hey, I did it 3 years in a row. But you know what? I missed the gold, but I mas natuwa ako sa nangyari because I missed the gold. And it's okay. I won 2 gold before. But what I learned at that time, and kailan lang to, 2017, I was already how old? And but even at my age at that time, I realized, oh, it's still not in my nature to give up. And everybody applauded me and approached me, man, that was something else what you did. My teammate from the States who's a world champion approached me, man, I never seen anything like that. I mean, man, and
mm.
they were just so astounded by my tenacity and my refusal to give in. Because I kept fighting till the end. Maski ako na-overwhelm ako when I look back, like, kung ano, hindi ako tumigil. Diba? Even times na pwede kong tanggapin yung pagkatalo ko, I didn't. I just kept at it and at it. Sure, I got the positions. I would have gotten the point if I had like probably 2 more seconds. 2 more seconds, I would have won it. But
Mhm.
you know, it's okay. It's okay because at least I was able to feel again that you know I don't give up, and for me that's more valuable than any gold medal. So yeah, that's how it is for me, and it's
So,
something that I try I really aim to have all my students learn. Some of them already have learned it. Some of them keep learning it. Some people won't even care about it. But at least I try just to maximize their study of this martial art. Kasi sayang eh. It could be so much more. Diba? So it's my goal, it's my
Mm.
personal goal
That's
to actually have these people experience such things. Because it makes
Okay.
you, stronger as a person. Makes you a more
yes.
functional individual in society that can give positive exchanges and positive results. Diba? So there.
So, Coach Ali, we cannot wait for your book. Okay, when is it coming out? You
This summer,
mentioned.
it's going to be an ebook. It's basically how my martial arts journey in judo and jiu-jitsu and all those experiences I've had, like those stories I told you, and there's really so much more. Okay, especially from the perspective of a coach, of a national coach. Okay, how much these stories and these principles and convictions have helped me and many of our national athletes and my athletes who've been through me uh, in their career, in their sports career, and in their lives. Okay, how the people who graduated from my program in Ateneo turn out to be heads of industries and vice presidents,
Mhm.
their companies, and all that. It's because of that thing we all have in common. Okay, that we fight, we don't give up, we know how to excel. When we do something, it's in a very high level of excellence. It's that.
Yes.
So yeah, and it's about time I figured, you know what, I'm not getting any younger. I've been teaching the moves. I never stopped. And I realized I want to teach the other aspects of things. How the study of martial arts can help you become a positive force in society. You as a person to be a positive force for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for the people around you, and for society in general. How you can be a positive force. Okay, because what good are gold medals and titles if you're a lousy person, diba?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isipin mo, diba?
So
It
basically, yes.
for me it can be something more than just that, diba? So there, I mean, this is something that I want to share with the world. Eh, Every experience is unique, and a lot of other people have their experiences and they want to share it to the world, and it's helping out a lot of people. Okay? And me also, because I've been a fan of many people who were able to turn their lives around. They have
Yeah.
these wonderful stories of how they overcame adversity and how they overcame crisis. Okay, so this is how I did it, and this is how the people I know did it because of their martial arts training. And trust me, my friend, it's no different from just living your regular lives, whether you take up martial arts or not. Okay, the parallelism of living your regular life and our life on the mats when we do this, it's eerily identical. Okay, so that's why I want to share it. I think there's something there that can help everybody out. Okay, and that's my goal.
Mm.
So, Ken, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, yung dun sa sa giving up, parang I posted something like years back in regards to giving up. So the only time you really lose is when you give up.
Yeah,
Kasi para sa akin, winning, losing is a mindset.
it is.
Yun sa akin. Kasi yeah, I work with human behavior, negotiation, persuasion. And yun yung mindset na ini-instill ko sa mga students ko in regards to negotiation winning and value, losing, it's all a mindset. Lalo na if you're
Definitely.
working with manipulation, ang dami nandito lahat yan So it's what you believe. Your reality is your life.
Exactly. It is what we make it to be, diba? I
Yeah,
mean,
yun yun.
we make the world we live in. Okay? So is it a
Yeah.
brave world? Diba? Isipin mo,
Yeah.
we can make it to be a brave. Okay? With so many
Mm.
things happening now, I mean, diba? Our world can use a little more courage and a lot more compassion. And that's what
Compassion.
I love about martial arts. You would think
Yeah.
that it's all about learning skills to fight. No, The irony of martial arts in modern times is this. Okay, this is not the feudal era anymore. There are no barbarians here, and there aren't any battles that happen in the street. True, there are altercations, diba? It can be a very dangerous world or a city still. Okay, but if you think about it, these are modern times. How do we practice being a warrior? How do we practice being a fighter without actually putting ourselves in a fight or a battle? Diba? It's different eh. The way we are as fighters and warriors now are put to the test whenever we go out there in the world, when we go commute, when we take our 2 hour commute to work, okay, when we have to deal with our boss, when we have to deal with difficult office mates, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or even just the lunch lady or the or the cashier who won't cooperate. See, you can see through there. Diba?
Yeah.
But one thing about martial arts, especially the judo and jiu-jitsu, okay, because once you get good at it, okay, so for example, judo, you know you have the power to overcome your opponent. You have the power to actually hurt or harm your partner or your opponent. Diba? It's in your physical capability, um, especially sa judo. Pwede ko siyang ibato at balibagin and have him feel the full brunt of the impact. Or, pag binato ko siya, sure, malakas, mabilis, pero I can offer a little support by pulling him up just upon impact to lessen the impact. Diba? Or sa jiu-jitsu. Diba? Pwede ko siyang makuha sa submission, pero ayaw niya mag-tap out. Pwede ko siyang tuluyan, it would be legal, it would be valid because hindi siya nagsasubmit. But you know what? Compassion teaches me that pag na-injure ko tong teammate kong to, hindi niya mabubuhat yung newborn baby niya. Pag na-injure ko tong isang teammate ko, mahirapan siya pumunta sa work niya dahil wala siyang kotse, naglalakad lang siya. Diba? Alam mo yung mga ganun? Pag na-injure ko tong teammate ko, nasasira ko yung kamay niya, he won't be able to do his profession because he plays the guitar for a band. Yung mga ganun. And whenever you think of those things, lightning fast thoughts right in the middle of it, that is compassion working for you. Diba? Exactly. And that's why I love doing what I do. Because, diba, it's so ironic.
Mhm.
Who would think that compassion is one of those things you can actually learn here?
Being
Or that you can
human, yeah.
Diba? It's not all about being the top
I
dog.
agree.
It's not all about being the toughest guy in the room who can pull off the most technical and the most difficult moves. No, it's not just that, man. Props to everyone who's working so hard to do just that. Okay, but yun nga these are the same people who get to practice compassion because ayaw nila makasakit, even though you have the power to. And this goes back to what we talked about in regarding bullying earlier.
Yeah.
Diba?
Kanina.
Diba? Some bullies don't
Yes.
realize they're because they have power. And then whether, sometimes they're not aware of it, okay, na nakakabully na sila, na nakakasakit na sila. But if they went through martial arts, they could learn stuff like that you have to be mindful about the other person. Okay? And you know what? That's how you practice or get to know
Okay.
about what we do.
So, Coach, this has been a very interesting discussion. So, how can they reach you?
Oh, well, you can reach me through Facebook.
Mhm.
I have a personal page there. Just send me a message. Just Ali Sulit. Just look for me there. I have an Instagram, Ali Sulit Jiu-Jitsu. So you can send me a message there. Just look at the stuff that I do. Yung mga kalokohan ko doon. No, wala. Just kidding. They're all legit. Okay. I have a
Kasi
Facebook.
talagang, Mhm. So
Sorry.
kasi this one, when I watch you, I listen to you, I'm sold on, jiu-jitsu, okay? Kasi may injury ako, kaya hindi na ako makabalik. But maybe my son, I'll enroll in jiu-jitsu, okay? So that's why I'm
It's for
asking,
everyone.
how
I
they
believe
can
that it's
message
for
you.
everyone. Gladly. I'll gladly help.
Okay. So, Ken, this is an interesting evening once again. Okay. And then,
Yeah.
Coach, thank you for being our guest.
Thank
We're
you for having me.
honored to
This
have
was
you
fun.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi din kay George. Hi, George. Ingat
Yeah.
dyan
Si
sa
George
Malaysia.
sa Oo.
Take care there, man.
Okay. So, George,
Oo.
nasagot ba namin yung tanong mo?
Oh, George, tanong niya, yan. Ay, may sabi pala siya, the path to improvement is repetition without aim of entitlement but rather self-actualization. Sabi ni George yan kanina. Yun,
There you
ayan.
go. Thanks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
articulating that for us, my friend. But yeah, that's one of the stuff we talked about today. Yeah.
Yun. So, Ali, super thank you so much. I
Thank you,
enjoyed
Ken.
this
Thank you
episode.
so
Ang
much,
daming
Chris.
insight.
Thank
Sobrang
you.
ganda.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Chris,
you.
see you on the next episode. That would be, kailan yung next episode natin, Chris?
On Monday, February
Monday,
10.
Buhay OFW. Yeah. Sige.
Oo.
So, I'll post the
Yan, kamustahin
poster.
naman natin yung mga friends natin doon.
Yeah, check it out. Post namin sa HR Shouts and Whispers. So, if you guys have any topic suggestions or whatsoever, malapit na yung Valentine. So, ingat, enjoy. And ingat, enjoy. Okay, guys. Super nice.
Okay.
Have a great night, guys. Salamat.
Okay. Good
Bye-bye,
night.
Ali. Chris,
Night.
bye. Good
Bye,
night.
Ali. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.